I don't know
Very
what
nice.
convinced Sonic to give me a dap, but Sonic dapped me up. It was like picture time, and I'm like, "Thanks, Sonic," and he's like, I wave, and Sonic like puts his fist out, like, I'm like, I can't leave you hanging. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Otaku Mode podcast. Yeah, wow, we're at our episode number 2. I mean,
That's right.
It's 1 month since our last podcast. By the way, my name is Adrian.
I'm Hayley.
I've always, I've done like 4 podcasts in my lifetime. I don't know if I sounded dated by saying in my lifetime, but I've done 4 podcasts, and I've been horrible at intros for every one of them. Somehow, you think I get better after a decade or 2, but
Sure, you've gotten better. It's a skill. You just got to practice.
it's a skill. Yeah, it surely is. It surely is a skill. But no, it's been good since the last time we podcast, and we got to say thanks to everyone who listened to the episode and left any feedback and just kind of like vibed with it. I think we had a good time. Kept it within 40 minutes. So we hit our goal right there, and just talked about a little bit about the zine and then a little bit about just ourselves and why we're doing this podcast. So we want to say thanks to everyone who's been listening. And of course, there's one other thing. We are currently on Spotify, but I'm working to get us on at least Apple Podcasts. So at least 2 of the main platforms. But right now, you're listening to us, you're more than likely on Spotify. So thanks for joining on that platform.
Thanks for listening.
And that is the show. But no, we've actually had a pretty good show for you today. I've been at Tokyo Game Show. That just wrapped up literally last weekend. And Hayley went to KYOBANSAI, which was the weekend before
that.
Yeah, so we've both been pretty busy covering a couple of events for Otaku Mode. And yeah, I think we can probably talk about them now. I don't think there's anything that we can't say.
Should I?
Yeah, I guess I can get started. I guess I can. TGS is pretty fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I always forget that I say TGS and it's like, what is TGS? It's Tokyo Game Show. And we go pretty much, I think since Tom has been a company, at least I've been here for 8 years. And I know we've gone every year in some capacity, whether we've had a booth or...
Yeah, we've done a variety of things at TGS too, like a little bit of everything, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, we had interviews. I've been playing Hollow Knight Silksong recently, and there was actually the moment where I realized we had the original Hollow Knight, like with the team, like Team Cherry, the devs were on stage.
Hell yeah.
At our booth talking about Hollow Knight before, I think it was like a month or so before it released. And that was surreal now that I think about it.
Yeah, we've had some good experiences. We've met some pretty interesting people and we've done some pretty fun stuff. I think TGS is one of the biggest shows, events that we cover for the year. So it's always a good time.
Yeah, it's always a great time. This year, we don't have a booth. So we had a booth this year, but we went for general media coverage. And that means that we went on the business days. There's 2 business days and there's 2 public days. Thursday and Friday are the business days. But I also went on Tuesday, which was a holiday here in Japan, for the Japan Game Awards, which is the first time I've actually covered that. I've always heard about it in the sense that you'll see on like some boxes, like video game boxes, it'll be like, oh, this is, won this award for most anticipated game kind of thing, like how they have at E3. But this was the first time I'd actually covered it. And there were a lot of like really famous designers. The Persona team was there, like the head designer and the artist. And they actually won for Metaphor Refantasio. That won like the overall grand prize.
Nice.
Like, yeah. And it's all fan voted too. So there's a fan voted part of it. And then there's also a little bit of judges. And that was cool seeing those, them in real life. And they were really excited to win because they said, a lot of people were just wanting Persona 6.
I mean, you can't blame the people, but also...
Yeah, you can't blame the people. The people still want Persona 6, by the way. They actually asked them on stage, like, so what about Persona 6? And they were like, we can't say anything at this time. So it was nice seeing them up on stage. And then I think some of the other highlights that stood out to me from that event specifically is Masahiro Sakurai, the director of Super Smash Brothers, and if I guess more recently for games, Kirby Air Ride. I know that's coming out pretty soon. He presented the Game Designers Award that went to Indica, which is a small indie game that is kind of unique in the sense that this whole dynamic between this nun who hears the devil's voice in her head, and to kind of uh, calm that voice down, she has to pray. And when she prays in the game, like the world changes. And then when
Oh,
she's listening to the voice, it like in some sections it'll be a different way. So it's kind of like a little bit of a puzzle platformer at times, and it's like 3D, but then it's got this beautiful pixel artwork that they use to show like things that have happened in our past that they use, for that story. So it's very unique, and that's what won the indie game. But anyways, Tokyo
very
Game Show.
nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, well, just going on that game, I don't know about you, but I'm a sucker for pixel artwork. I
yeah.
like it hits that perfect nostalgia zone for me, like just like being a kid and playing like RPG Maker style games.
Hmm.
And I just love that. That's an immediate win in my book.
Yes. And speaking of pixel based games, there was another game at the show, and actually at two different shows. One, Shueisha Games has actually been publishing a lot of like cool indie games recently. And I need to look up this game's name before I don't I mispronounce it or something. But they had one that came out earlier this year for I think Nintendo Switch, and it's on Steam and some other platforms. But it is like called, what's the English title of it? Games. Yes, Urban Myth Dissolution Center. That actually won uh a, an award there at the Japan Game Awards, and later on in the PlayStation State of Play, they actually unveiled another game that has like this really cool, pixel art style as well. And yeah, like they've been doing some really good work. So
Sounds good.
go back and actually play that Urban
I
Myth
will
Dissolution
definitely
Center.
check those out. Yeah.
And there's a huge sale. By the time this podcast is up, there should still be the sale on Steam for the fall sale. Yeah.
All right. Perfect time to grab a copy.
Yep, indeed. Um,
By
yeah,
the way,
Tokyo
we are
Game Show.
not we are
Oh,
not
sponsored.
sponsored at all. So
We're
this is
not.
just
Nope, not sponsored by Shueisha Games at all.
no, this is just games that we're genuinely excited for and genuinely interested in. So just putting that out there.
Exactly. Exactly. What else is there? Well, what is there to say about Tokyo Game Show? I mean, this year there were like 1,000 something booths.
Wow.
So it's getting bigger and bigger. I think this year was the largest amount of exhibitors that they've had in the past, like ever. And for business days, it was fairly crowded. I think there's a lot more press coming year over year, but there's still room to move, which was nice. And you could actually play a lot of games this year as opposed to the previous years I know we've covered, because the layout, they actually kind of changed maybe some regulations with the booths. I noticed a lot of booths had more than just 10 stations to play or 20 stations to play. They had a little bit more room inside of them. And the demos were, I think they were around 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what you were playing. I got the chance to play Pragmata over at the Capcom booth.
Nice. How was that?
And yeah, it was good. It was actually one of the games I had been kind of wanting to play the most, because for the longest time, ever since I want to say around 2020 is when they first had a trailer for that game. And this year was specifically is like the first time it's actually been playable at a couple of different shows. It's not one of those things where it just went away and disappeared. And they acknowledged that a lot of times through fun memes on social media. They actually had a picture, or I guess a doll, like a kind of statue of the girl Diane, and she's holding the sign. This time it says like really coming in 2026.
For real, guys. For real.
For real, for real, it's actually coming. but it was smooth, and I gotta say, like, I'm looking forward to playing it. It's got a science, sci-fi feel to it, almost like Dead Space. But the whole thing of the game is instead of just shooting something in third person, you are actually like hacking the people. Like in order to deal damage, you have to do this kind of hacking mini game, which is really easy. It's kind of like I forgot what it looks like in terms of like what it relates to, but shifting. You know those puzzles where you're kind of like shifting something from one square to the next, and you're trying to get to like a certain location in the grid. It's just that. It's exactly that. And so it takes like half a second or sometimes maybe a couple seconds or no more than like 5 seconds to do these little puzzles, and then you can shoot and deal a lot of damage. There's little debuffs that you can do for the enemies if you go through those nodes. Yeah, it's actually it's very intuitive, and I think if you look up any gameplay footage of it, it's fairly self-explanatory in that sense. Were there any games that you were looking forward to that might have been at TGS, Haley?
Um, Now you said that, and my mind has gone completely blank. I'm just like, I've never heard of a game before in my life, so I will get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, what other demos did you play?
I also played the Hyrule Warriors, the new Hyrule Warriors. I can never say it. Hyrule Warriors Age of
Hyrule
Imprisonment.
Warriors, yes.
There we go.
Okay, so you've just pointed out one that I've actually been looking forward to, so please tell me about that.
Yeah. So it was a short demo. It's like a 10-minute demo, but
Okay.
we got to play it really quickly. Like we got in quick, and it's at the Koei Tecmo booth, and it was so for people who might know me. I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom for about a year and a half now. Not completed it, but I have not played the first Hyrule Warriors. I've only heard that, Switch One, it was kind of hard to run, but the game itself is fun. And so the one thing I was looking forward to the most was seeing how does the game run on the Switch 2. This is
Mhm.
the first time it's actually been available to be played. And I have to say it ran smooth. It was locked 60 frames, at least from what I could tell with my eyes. You got to play, first of all, with three characters, and you can switch in between them Princess Zelda, and then you also have Rauru and Mineru. I hope I got those names right. And you can switch in between them. And in typical Dynasty Warriors fashion, you can hit, I guess in this case, where's my Switch controller? We'll say like YYY X or something like that. You get different combos, but
Yes.
it looked very beautiful. I got to say, like playing actually as Princess Zelda, and this is a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom in terms of the story. It is direct canon. There's no ifs, what if scenarios or anything like that. It's exactly what happens in the imprisoning wars that take place before Tears of the Kingdom. And yeah, that it was just like really fun using the characters, and they all animated really beautifully and had distinct moveset and personalities.
It's
And I
also
think the
I'm
thing,
just
yeah,
assuming it's just like a really fun game. Like you could turn your brain off and just
you
have
can.
fun like hacking and slashing, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the things that's better now that they're on Switch 2 and it's more powerful. You really don't have to worry about any slowdown. And there's more enemies on the screen like that makes it feel more like a traditional Dynasty Warriors title with the enemies. And plus, this is something I thought was very cool, is that they have the Zonai tools. So the tools that you use to build things in Tears of the Kingdom, those are in the game as well. How many, I don't know. They haven't said. And if you'll be able to do like fusion or any other types of mechanics from Tears of the Kingdom, they haven't said yet. But the fact that you could take out like the flame emitter, or you could take out the battery, or the kind of, I forgot what the bomb is called, but like there's different Zonai tools that you'll be able to use as well. So it's like it felt like I was in the world of Tears of the Kingdom, and I
Yeah.
very much like that world.
Okay. I mean, and that's something, people who are looking forward to it can also just keep an eye out for. Like, how much do you get that Tears of the Kingdom, that I guess the way that they incorporate the world.
Exactly, exactly. Plus, you get to play the. I always Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I really wanted to play Princess Zelda or like some of the other characters because like my boy Lunk. or he's cool and all, but
Did you just call him Lunk?
I call him Lunk because I'm very bad at moving on the Switch controller.
I see.
So
I see.
I I would say like, oh please, like go climb, but then he would just do something else. I'm like, throw the bomb. Don't throw it on yourself. Lunk, stop being dumb. Stop.
I see.
It's
I
really
see.
just me.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. That's my pet name for Link.
That's your pet name for him. All right.
That's
I
my
get
pet
it. I
name.
get it.
And so I played that, and there was another game that I played, but it was more like a Genshin style
Like
game.
open world style RPG?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. So the demo didn't actually say if it was open world or not. I imagine it probably will be. They just had the kind of combat section and then like, showing off some of the characters. It was what was this game called? Limit Zero. Yeah, Limit Zero Breakers.
Limit Zero Breakers.
Yeah, and this is coming from Vic Game Studios, published by NCSoft. It's if you played Wuthering Waves or any of
Okay.
that style of game, it's very much that aesthetic anime style game with a gotcha system. The booth was very nice. And in fact, I guess to kind of go off of this, there were a ton of Genshin slash we'll just say MiHoYo's verse style games this year. I would say that made up maybe if the bigger game studios are like 50%, they were definitely like 25% of the rest of the show, if not more.
That's pretty
Mugen,
impressive.
yeah, Mugen Dai Anata, that game was there as well, and that booth was packed. Like you could not play the game. The first day they had it, they were like within 10 minutes, they were booked for day one and day two of business days. So it was popping for that. And that one is like open world Grand Theft Auto style, actually. That's what makes it kind of unique.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the theme I think this year is games like Nikkei or kind of like that mobile gotcha game. They're there. Some more shameless than others.
Some more shameless than others.
Some very very shameless. I gotta say, I've learned many new games, and I will say there was a lot more photo spots this year for taking photos. I was able to get a picture with Sonic again, which is always nice. This time
Very
Sonic
good.
gave me dap. I don't know
Very
what
nice.
convinced Sonic to give me a dap, but Sonic dapped me up. It was like picture time, and I'm like, thanks Sonic, and he's like, I wave, and Sonic like puts his fist out like I
Nice.
can't leave you hanging.
Can't leave him hanging. Yeah.
So
Okay,
um
so I want to know what was the most surprising thing you saw at TGS or that you played at TGS? Because you've been there like for many years. So
mhm.
you have an idea of how it goes. Like, was there anything that was just, I don't know, like brand new or just like really surprising?
Let me think, because that's a good question. I mean, I was able to cover, and this is definitely not interesting to anyone listening. There's a family area which I've never been to, but that area was very new and kind of like, wow, I didn't know this area existed. It's essentially the place where kids and their families they can go and play a lot of the demos like Monster Hunter and Capcom Level 5 games, Inazuma 11, all that stuff. It's there, but they have a restriction on how long people can wait in line. Like you can only have like a 20-minute line or less because kids get antsy and everything. And there's a lot of space too. Like it really was like the chillest part of the convention that really only if you have a family you should be in. But
But
we
I
went
mean,
for coverage.
that's good information to know. I mean, people, like going to events like this, it's tiring, It's like it's a lot of space, you do a lot of walking, it's a lot to see and like, people with kids, like kids love games and if you're somebody with a family, you might want to bring your kids, but you might not, necessarily want them to have to deal with everything that's there, so, like, having that space, I think, would be really cool,
Yes,
and it's great that they have that. That's
yeah.
good
It
foresight.
and it went really smoothly in terms of people going in and out of that space. I think the biggest surprise for me, like I said, were a lot of the photo spots, and I thought that they did a great job this year of making it to where, like, even because typically I tell people if you're going to go to one of these shows, expect to maybe only play one game, two if
Yeah.
you're lucky, if you know where to go. But this year they had a lot of photo spots out, and I think the biggest one, there's two, but the one I think most people have seen on the internet maybe is Silent Hill F at the Konami booth. They had like one of the marionette girls
Yeah.
out. Yeah, and she was giving out some little notepads essentially in a basket. And the way that this works is, you might have seen in the game, they kind of don't move often, and then all of a sudden they'll start moving in like a very weird, like super Japanese horror style way of movement. And yeah, it was just really cool seeing a lot of people like actually like not fearfully reach their hand into the basket to get it, but everyone, no one just took the notebook. Everyone slowly reached in, like, I don't know if she's gonna move. Like, what the heck is this?
That's actually really fun.
So yeah, that photo booth. They had one for Ghost of Yote as well at the Sony booth or PlayStation. You could take a picture using, they had both of Atsuko's swords, and you could take a picture with those, holding it however you wanted to. And that was like really quick. Digimon at the Bandai Namco booth for like Digimon Stories. I'm going to forget the last, Time Stranger. There we go. Digimon Stories, Time Stranger. Agumon was out walking the floor. And then they actually had this like huge Were Garurumon that you could ride,
That you
which
could
was,
ride?
yeah, you could like get on top and like they'll take a picture for you, but like it's almost like in the opening when Matt is on Where Gurumon and he's
Yeah.
like, right, yeah, it is exactly that scene. And I was like, oh my gosh,
Childhood dreams come to life.
childhood dreams, yeah, coming to life.
Amazing.
The Katamari booth over at Bandai Namco. Yeah, Bandai Namco had a lot of different things, especially like the cosplayers for Code Vein 2. They were out there and those looked like, I like, me personally, I like a lot of the cosplay that's like official cosplay of the characters. You know, there's always the booth companions that are there giving out things, and that's fine. But that they had a great booth. And I think that's what surprised me the most was like all the nice kind of almost like a wholesome sense to it
Yeah.
with the photo spots. Infinity Nikki at their booth. Nikki was out like walking around and they, you know, they probably had the guys, I don't know what that game is called. They have Infinity Nikki, but they have another game that's, you know, based around male characters looking very, very handsome and dapper. And they had a huge booth for that with huge screens with them. So I assume that they came out sometime in a big giant chocobo that you could ride from Final
Very
Fantasy
good.
14.
Very good. I'm glad that the theme here was like, we're gonna let them ride everything.
Everything you can ride. There's all, yeah, yeah. Now that I'm looking at all my pictures, yeah, there was actually a lot of different little things that you could ride, or just it was just fun. And maybe that's just this year the theme of a lot of the games. While there are some kind of darker games, there wasn't. You know, I think we've kind of moved on in the industry from a lot of the like first person shooter style games
Yeah.
to just a lot more of like fun, creative. Now, don't get me wrong, Battlefield and Call of Duty were there since they come out this month or in October, but I just, yeah, I felt like it was just, there wasn't a bunch of NFT crap like there was last year or the year before last. Horrible gotcha games. The quality of gotcha has gone up much better than what it used to be at one point. And yeah, it just seems like the industry is in a good spot here in Japan with the big games and also like the indie area as well.
Good. Because I know one of the critiques, so to speak, of TGS was sort of that it didn't really have much to offer people after a couple years. Like, the games, like everybody sort of already had the announcements for the games, and so there wasn't really much to look forward to in the actual shows. But I'm glad that it sort of like found its sweet spot basically on how to, get people to have fun and enjoy the experience and enjoy being there because it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And next year they'll have 3 public days. So they went up a public day.
Wow.
So they're doing great under kind of new management, and you can tell that there's a huge emphasis on, I don't know, just having a good experience overall. Because like you said, a lot of information is already out. There's not too much that you don't know, you know. So it's good that they're trying to make the experience itself just a smoother thing. Yeah.
Good.
So moving on, I guess, to more of a music side of anime. You went to Kyobansai,
Yes, I
which
did.
yeah, what does Kyobansai stand? Does it stand for anything or
Does it stand for anything? I mean, the Kyo part of it comes from the kanji for Kyoto because it's specifically the organizer, composer Yuki Hayashi. He's from the Kyoto area, and the Sai is like festival, so he sort of wanted to have a music festival in his hometown that like celebrated the composers. So
dang?
yeah, that's why it's specifically in Kyoto. And yeah, it's part of the Kyomaf Kyoto. Oh my God, let me make sure
Yeah,
I'm
what is it?
getting all of the
Kyoto. Which one's the animation
Kyoto
manga? There you go.
International Manga Anime Fair. Yes, Kyomaf, which we also had a booth at. It's part of the bigger Kyomaf celebrations and festivities. Yeah, so it's basically a concert, a festival. I mean, it's there for people to have fun and enjoy anime music. And I mean, I'm a big fan of soundtracks. I will watch something if I like the composer, for example.
Wait, wow, really?
Yes, like, if I like the composer, not even like the director or like the mangaka or whatever, if I like the composer, I will watch the anime because at least if nothing else, I know the music is going to be good.
That's
And that's
true. This is the first time I've heard this. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way of you know, getting led to different anime, honestly, like different things that you
yeah,
may
I
not even
mean,
watch.
you get a wide range of things and also, I mean, for me, music is such a big part of the experience. So for example, I never ever skip anime like the openings and the ending songs. I don't skip that. Absolutely not. Like,
A good way to go about it. I mean,
yeah, that's how I get my new music. That's how I find out about artists. Like, I love Japanese music. I love being able to find out about new artists and also have that connection with an anime that I like.
I do have a quick question on aside for that because I mean, growing up, obviously, we got some of the intros or some of the outros, like the proper ones
Yeah.
on TV when they were broadcast. But it was a way that I found out a lot of different artists like Bump a Chicken and Asian Kung Fu Generation. Like, it's how you hear about them. And now we have a lot. Like now that we live here, sometimes I feel like it's not the same, even though it is like in the sense that I always feel like I'm looking for a newer, more indie artist in a lot of anime openings, and I don't feel like I get it as much. But I think when I was growing up, when we heard those like Asian Kung Fu, like they were on the rise, and it was what was popular. I just wasn't in Japan, so I guess my question would be like, how do you feel about anime opening songs or endings today, like in today's anime? Do you find that you're discovering more new artists, or is it just a little bit too similar?
I think there's a good mix, actually. I think anime does a pretty good job of giving smaller artists or like up and coming artists a chance to like, have their song be either the opening theme or the ending theme. So you find that there's a mix of you'll get like maybe the opening will be a pretty popular, well-known band
Hmm.
and then the ending theme will be somebody that's a lot more indies or like that's pretty new.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I think it's pretty balanced in that aspect. And I find that I actually really enjoy that because then you get not only do you get to hear your favorites, like your favorite band, you also it's pretty easy to then discover newer artists or up and coming artists. So
That's yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. That's how I felt for the Jujutsu Kaisen second season ending,
yeah.
I want to say. Yeah, Hichiji Bun. I forgot. I can't say the full name. But anyways, continue. Kyobansai.
Yeah, I mean, well, for Kyobansai, it was like a lineup of pretty heavy hitters. So you have the organizer, Yuki Hayashi, who he's done the Haikyuu soundtracks. He's done like My Hero Academia. He's done like Arc Knight, Sakamoto Days.
It's all really good, actually. It's
Yeah,
all
that's
good.
pretty big names. It was, let's see, it was five composers in all. So let me just run through them real quick. So you had Jun Murayama, who did the Blue Lock soundtrack. And I don't know what else he's done because he focused on Blue Lock during the show, but it was pretty good. Like, I've never seen Blue Lock, so I don't have a sort of idea of it. But like, together with the music, they also had a screen that would show clips from the anime. So it was really like immersive. So you would get not only you getting like the live music because it's a live orchestra playing the songs, you also
Wow.
get like actual clips from the anime to sort of like bring you into that space, that like worldview.
Was this outside or like inside, like in the hall?
It was indoors in a hall this time. Previously, it was held outdoors because it was sort of like a festival kind of feeling where it was outside and like a summer festival. But now I don't know why they chose to change it, but I want to guess it's because Japanese summer is
It's so hot.
incredibly hot.
It's so hot.
I don't know if there was any other reason other than the fact that it's so hot outside, even in September, that I think they wanted to give the audience a much more comfortable experience. So, yeah, they had it indoors this time. It was actually just across the street from the Kyomaf event hall, so across the street from Miyako Mese. And yeah, so it was, climate controlled, cool. Everybody could just relax. You weren't like sweltering in the heat. And I think it was a much richer experience because then, you had the screen, you had the orchestra, you had everybody had light sticks that they were waving in time to the music. So it had that
Nice.
really nice concert feeling. But yeah, right. I was going through the composers. So yeah, so we had Jun Murayama who did Blue Lock. Then we have Kaoru Wada who did Inuyasha, Ranma One Half, Gegege no Kitaro, like pretty nostalgic anime in my opinion, and some of my favorites. You had Teru Yoshimasa, who his ones were Jujutsu Kaisen and Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quacks. And then you had Yasuharu Takanashi, who he does like Fairy Tail, Kinnikuman, Precure, Naruto. I have to say, the Naruto block was probably the most hype that the crowd was for the
Really?
entire night. And I'm
What
just like,
song? Like, there's so many, but which, like, what?
oh my God, I can't remember the exact songs off the top of my head because it's off from the soundtrack. Like, he had his band and
Hmm.
the live orchestra, and he also had an electric flute player and a shamisen
Yeah,
player.
dude, those go
He
hard.
Yeah, and he got, Wagaki Band?
Yes, yes.
He also had the taiko player come in as a special guest. So it had like all of these like intense drums and like the shamisen and like the
Yo,
flute. And it was just like, I
guess
mean,
like when I think about Naruto, I do remember like it's not the opening, but there are a lot of insert songs in there, like the sadness and sorrow. I think it's like da 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 da, and then they had like the so see dun dun dun
yeah, yeah,
dun dun.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that type of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of his stuff, he played mostly the Shippuden soundtrack. And it
Okay,
was a lot of like really like high paced, like energetic tracks. So it got the audience like really hyped up and everybody was like just having a blast.
well, that's awesome.
But yeah, for the most part, it was really fun. I mean, you know, when you think of songs from anime, sometimes you usually only think of like the openings and the endings, but you don't really think of the soundtrack itself.
Right.
right? And like that there's an event that focuses on that and gives the composers their flowers because I mean, they like set the tone, like all of the sad moments, all of the happy moments, all of the big scenes, like that's what's playing in the background and I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, it's one of the things where I don't notice it until it's like a music based anime. I'll notice like obviously because they're singing songs or playing something, you're like, oh, like this is the anime soundtrack, right? But when you're watching any other type of anime, like a slice of life or shonen or something like that, you do really do kind of sometimes not hear it as much. Like you don't like actively listen for it.
I mean, I actively listen for it, so your mileage may vary.
Your mileage may vary. I have to now. I'm going to be actively listening for the insert songs because it's like, oh man, I'm just trying to hear the people talk, and the next thing I know, it's like, oh yeah, there's music. Oh, there's music.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, the scenes would not hit as hard if it weren't for the music. I stand by that statement. Just, even like the character themes, like if you think of like something like My Hero Academia, like the theme that plays when All Might like shows up, you're just like, "Oh my god, it's All Might." And it's like, yeah, this is the theme, this is the song, this is the vibe.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it makes all the
I can nerd
difference.
out. I can nerd out about anime soundtracks for for a while.
That is going to be one episode probably. Just we'll just let Haley nerd out about some soundtracks. That would be nice to like. I guess off the top of your head, do you have any soundtracks you would like people to kind of listen to? Like just a couple,
I mean, one of
like
my
must
favorite
listen tos.
composers is, Yuki Kajiura, um, and she works with the group Calafina, who've
Oh,
done, like, a lot of anime openings and endings, and I think, like, probably the most, she's worked on the Demon Slayer soundtrack, she's worked on, Fate Zero, she's worked on Sword Art Online. Yeah, just like Tsubasa Chronicles, Hack, like a good range of anime, Pandora Hearts, just off
jeez,
the top of my head.
like a list of like what anime did you watch? All of them. I watched them all.
Yeah, and, yeah, her soundtracks, I absolutely love it. It's such a good blend of classical and that sort of modern electronic music. So it manages to just blend both like really beautifully. And she usually gets the vocalists, so of Calafina, she has vocalists sing on the soundtrack. So she has like a made up language that she gets the vocalists to sing in. So it sort of adds like this kind of mysterious, sort of ethereal, otherworldly sort of vibe to it, and it's really good. Just a good time. I definitely recommend Yuki Kajiura for soundtrack for all your soundtrack needs.
There you go. You got homework, people. You got homework. Yes, you have to report. You got to let us know how was it and what your favorite song was. Someone's like, "Oh, we really do have homework. Yes, we give
Yes, you do
homework
have
on this
homework.
podcast.
We learn on this podcast.
We learn on this podcast. No, no one. I will say though, like learning is actually very fun the older you get. That's just a
Yeah,
me thing. Did not
yeah,
appreciate it when I was a kid. I totally didn't.
yeah. That's true. I mean, because it's different because you get to set your own pace. You learn at your own
Yes,
pace, and you get to pick the things that you wanna learn. Like, you're not being forced to learn, like, subjects that you're never gonna use in real life, you know?
I still have not used geometry.
There you
When am I
go.
going to use it? When am I going to use it?
I don't know.
But yeah, I guess kind of rounding out the this episode of this podcast. Of course, we do want to let you guys know that there are some by the time this podcast does go up, there's a new monthly giveaway that's happening. So be sure to check out that monthly giveaway. There's going to be some special giveaways over on Twitter as well as some follow and repost campaigns. So be sure to check those two things. Follow those. And then, of course, if you're on Instagram, you can check out our Instagram and Facebook pages at Tokyo Otaku Mode, I want to say. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to learn those. Finally, I'm gonna have to
You're gonna
learn
have to learn those,
the
yes.
actual. Yeah. But yes, check those or follow those places for your figure needs. We post a lot of pictures of the newest figures right there on those places. And then of course, if you're on YouTube, you can follow us at Tokyo Takamoto on YouTube, where we've also got shorts of Tokyo Game Show that we've put up, and then we've also got like a just overall video, like just summarizing. It's like a 5-minute video that the wonderful, cool Alex put together for us at Tokyo
Yes,
Game
thank
Show.
you, Alex. Thank you, Alex, you're a real one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, any shout outs you want to do, Haley? Anything you want to mention?
You've covered all our bases, so yeah, just gonna reiterate, like, follow us. We post pretty regularly, and we check all of our messages. We check all of the DMs that you send, all of the messages, all of the replies, all of the mentions, like, we will be looking at those, so you can always reach out to us with anything.
Yep. Yep. Maybe not on Facebook. No, we don't. Not on Facebook. No. Everywhere but Facebook. You'd be surprised how much spam we get on Facebook in the
Okay, that's
DMs.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. Maybe not Facebook then, but
Maybe
everywhere
not
else.
Facebook. Everywhere else, you're pretty good to go to. So, yeah, that'll do it for us for episode number 2. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Share the word with your friends. If you've got any anime enthusiasts in your life, there's a new podcast on the blog.
That's right, and
All
yeah,
right,
we look forward to more.
there we go. This time next month. We'll see you again, everyone. So have a good one. Bye.
Bye.